Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. Today I thought I would do a little bit more deeper dive into our 70 crew cab we just picked up, show you a few more things I've been doing to it and a few things I noticed as I was working on it a little bit. Ended up being a little bit longer video than I was expecting. Kind of rambled on a little bit. Hope it's not too boring for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it, so let's go dig into it. Hey guys, we're back looking at our 70 F350 crew cab I just picked up recently. I've been messing with it a little bit and doing a little bit of digging around on it, so I thought I would show you guys what I found out, or just some things I've been working on with it. I don't know if I showed it in the other video, but main thing was it had like a gallon can right here with just the hose running from the fuel pump into that can and getting fuel out of that. I hooked back up the factory fuel tank, the in-cab fuel tank there. Got that hooked off that and got it pulling off of that. I pulled the fuel pump out of it to check it, make sure it was good, and it was doing good, so I didn't need to replace that. I did put a new filter in it, and it was leaking some oil right here where it goes in the engine, so I put a new gasket on that and fixed that and put a new fuel filter in it. But the line here, I'm not sure why they had it unhooked and had another gallon can right here bypassing the in-cab tank. It did have an old gas smell in it, so probably had some old gas in it. Maybe they're just trying to avoid problems there. But what I did was I took the line off here and took the line off at the tank and blew air through the line to get any of that old gas out of there and any debris blockages there was. It wasn't blocked or anything, so it blew out of there just fine. The problem that they might have been running into, whoever was doing all this work, was I think the line in the tank was picked up, the pickup line was plugged up, so I blew some air down in that, and that seemed to open it up. There's probably some rust and crud in the tank there plugging that pickup line up, but I got it freed up and put some gas in here, and it's pulling from the tank just fine. And I got that new filter up there. Those bigger filters can hold a lot of crud before they plug up. Actually, my 72 Sport Custom, that fuel tank has a little bit of rust in it, and it plugs those filters up about every 1,500 miles. So I just change those out, once you're halfway through an oil change or something. I keep one in the glove box of that truck just in case it happens when I'm on the road somewhere. But the rear seat is unbolted, so I don't know if someone was planning on at some point changing the tank out. But this seat is unbolted from the floor, but it doesn't seem at this point I don't need to do that just yet, so it seems to be working just fine. It may plug up again, but for now we'll see how it does. Another thing that I noticed was the front seat appears to be in the back because it has this back on it, and that one doesn't. So the other crew cabs we have, they have the back on it right here where this one doesn't. So I don't know if these are the factory seats. They're black. So the original seats were black in the 70 truck, whatever these doors came off of, not this cab. I guess I should point that out in case you didn't watch the other video. This is a 68 cab, which is kind of interesting. Lunar green, I think, was the original color in it. It's pretty neat. I kind of wish I had the VIN to that, the VIN entitled to the cab instead of the frame. But I have the 1970 F350 VIN for the frame, and I think these doors go to that. And this cab is a 68 because it has these right here, and it doesn't have the 67 heater controls. So we know it's a 68 cab. I did check one of our other crew cabs. We had the Highboy build. There was a build sheet under the rear floor mat here, glued to the floor. I was hoping that maybe it was still in here, and we'd be able to get the VIN for this cab, but they painted the floor blue, so all of this has been pulling up, and this is glued down to the floor, so this isn't factory. They didn't glue them down from the factory, so the chances of that build sheet still being there is pretty slim. I was kind of hoping that would have been our last ditch effort to try to find the VIN for this cab, but so you can see some of the lunar green paint there on the roof. There was some patchwork right there done at some point. Had somebody in the comments of the last video comment about the steering wheel. Yes, this steering wheel is a 2-spoke, which wouldn't be correct for a 70, so it doesn't have the correct steering wheel on it. But I also said that it had a 71 door and front clip on it. Well, I was wrong. I just glanced at this whenever I was picking the truck up. It was late at night, and I guess I either read the VIN wrong or read what I was Googling wrong. But actually a 72 F100. It's actually a Explorer package because it has an X right there on the, I was trying to see what color this was, and there's an X, and on the paint chip brochure it didn't have a name for that, and it was like something that said like mid-year. You get that in the Explorer package, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway, F100 72 Explorer is what the doors and front clip came off of. So and this steering wheel's green, so I don't know what that came off of, but it's a green 2-spoke. Might have been something somebody had at some point and put it on there. So that's a few of the things I've been see. You see the front clip has this yellow, same as the doors and the hood, and this right here, and has a 72 grill on it. So the master cylinder is leaking. I have one coming. I'm going to change it out. You put fluid in here and it just runs out the back. So I'm going to put a new master on it, see if I can get the brakes working good. I actually have driven it, so I might take it for a spin and show you guys how it's driving. It does have a little bit of brakes, not much. I went ahead and ordered a new carburetor because this has electric choke, which wouldn't have been what this truck would have had. It would have had a heat tube, but it is non-functional. So there's a spring or a wire here I have holding the choke shut, so it'll run. It won't run without the choke on. It might be some passages plugged up in that. Not a big deal. I also changed out the ignition switch, so it runs a little bit better. It's in gear. So it runs a little bit better. The old one here, the key is either wore out or the key isn't perfect match for this, and it was real pain to get. You had to jiggle the key a lot to get it to work. So I just changed that out real quick so we could run it. In here in the gear lever, when I was unloading off the truck, I was telling you I was having a hard time finding gears. Well, let me get this shifter out, and right here on the I think they call this the shift tower on the transmission, there should be a pin right here, and the casting is broke on the transmission, and that pin rides on this ball in that slot, and that's what keeps your shifter from rotating. And since that's gone and broke off, the shifter can just rotate, so it's hard to get it in the right spot. But I think I have it figured out. I took it for a drive and I had it figured out where I can hit the right gear every time. So at least I have that kind of figured out. I am still planning on changing this transmission out, or at least changing out the shift tower if I can find one, so it'll shift better. But if I just do this, I can get it into the right spot instead of just pushing the gear lever over like you normally would. See, that doesn't do anything, it just spins. So anyway, kind of got that figured out. The radio hole was kind of butchered up, so I'm going to see if I can stuff a radio in there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get one to work. But while we're in here, I did get a martyr report on this truck. I was getting a door tag that matched the VIN I have, so I can get that F100 door tag off of there, one like this that matches it, and went ahead and got a martyr report for this truck. Kind of revealed some interesting stuff. F350 300, which I already knew, built in Ontario like all the crew cabs. It is a special paint truck, so I don't know, when it's special paint, you don't know what the special paint was. It just special, it could be anything really, because it just means it's not factory color. So I have no idea what it would have left the factory as, if it's that orange color or not. But it was a fleet order in Illinois. St. Louis ordering district has a 410 Dana 70 limited slip rear end. and a T18. That is something that I thought was interesting. Most of the 1-tons have 435s. Usually you think of the Borg-Warner or T18s as kind of a 3/4 ton transmission, but this one has it in a 1-ton, which is kind of interesting. And flare side, I think this would have been a flare side pickup. You know, the step side kind of bed. Ford called them flare side. Step side is a Chevy term, but and here's the option list: crew cab option, custom package, oil pressure, amp meter, center seat belt, 750/16 tires, Western mirrors, and then alternator, power steering, heavy duty rear springs and shocks. It doesn't have the disc brakes on here. It does have disc brakes in the front, so that could have been from the whatever truck this cab came from, if it had disc brakes and they put it on there. The other crew cabs I have that have disc brakes, the disc brake option is on the Martin report, so it could have just been missed or it was added later, something like that. 1135 crew cab 350s and 70, so it's a little bit rarer than our 72s. There is 1500 F350s built in 72, 1500-ish. So the other numbers are kind of normal. I guess there's 1100 or so with engine transmission codes, so I guess there was some at least 1100 with the 300 and T18 transmission. Special paint and trim codes is 1700, and just with special paint is 6700, so quite a bit with just special paint. Our railroad crew cab truck, you know, if you remember, that truck has a 300 as well, but it has an MP 435 transmission, a new process, so it has the what you would expect in a 1-ton truck. But anyway, got this emailed to me a few days ago, so it's always cool to kind of see the special stuff on the crew cabs and stuff. They're a little bit more interesting than the regular trucks. I am going to show you under the truck. We didn't get a chance to look at the underside of the truck whenever I was filming the first time, so give you a little bit deeper dive into this truck this time. Let's go underneath it, and we'll see some of the problem areas this truck has that you can't really see from the outside. Right here is a sheet metal floor that previous owner put in here, just so your foot didn't go through the floor. It does have holes in the floorboards, unfortunately, so the carpet hides it real well, but there is a big hole there, and there's one on the other side as well. This cross member here is rotted out, kind of bad, and these inner rockers are kind of bad compared to the other ones I've gotten. Up in here you can see it rusting up in there, and the cab mounts are terrible on it as well. There's some of the hole from the floor, cab mount right there. There's some of the floor. The rear crew cab floor is rusting away right there. All the other crew cabs we have, the rear floor was all good, so that's the first problem with the rear floor we've had in all the crew cabs I've gotten, which is kind of disappointing. Here's the cab corner. It's pretty bad. There's some Bondo there they tried to patch over the rust with at some point, which is never the right thing to do. And then right in the inner rocker right there is rotted away as well. So one thing that's nice is it does show the primer bottom here. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's the way they would have left from the factory, red primer. There's watching some stuff on some Shelby Mustangs, and they're real purist about seeing this. If you have original car, they want to see this red primer on the bottom of it, so I think that's what they did from the factory. I'm not sure if that was the regular cabs or just the crew cabs, but if anybody knows for sure, let me know in the comments if that was right, because I think we're going to do the red primer on our crew cab highboy restoration we're doing. We're trying to do, you know, as correct as we can. We might spray the bottom in red oxide primer, so we can try to match the original. Right there you can see some of the floor rot with that sheet metal there. There's some more of it over here, and this cross member, I guess, I don't know if floor support brace, I guess it's not really a cross member. That one's in good shape, decent enough shape anyway. And, there's a little bit of corrosion in the step for the rear cab right there. So that's got a little bit of corrosion, and right there it's bubbling out in that seam. This rocker is in better shape than the driver's side. There is a hole right here in the back corner. Some right there. The rear cab mounts are real bad shape on this thing too. They're squashed out real bad, and the cab is resting on the frame. If you can see right there how it's just resting on the frame, the cab mount's completely squashed out. So, and right there you can see the bumpers right there are squished out, the ones in the middle. Here's the other one. You can see the top bushing there is squished out, and the bottom one's all loose. So I might try to put some bushings on that at some point. And another thing right here will show you that this was a 250 cab. This 68 cab was a 250 because it has the inboard cab mounts right here, right there. Get around this drive shaft. All right. So these are, since this is a 68 cab, it has hold down plates for the bottom of the fuel tank instead of bolts. These 70 to 72s have bolts on the bottom of the fuel tank here. There's 2 on each side that hold the fuel tank in, and has 5 bolts up top that hold it. Well, this being an early cab, a 68, there's 3 bolts up top and just these plates that go on top of the cab mount bolt on the inside, and there's a notch in the bottom of it, and the fuel tank just sits in that notch, and that's what holds the bottom of the fuel tank. Well, when they put this 250 cab on this 350 chassis, they had to use the outboard cab mounts, much like doing a highboy swap. If you're using a 3/4 ton or half ton on a highboy frame, they have outboard cab mounts as well. You have to drill out these outer cab mounts, which is what 350s and highboys had. So in order to utilize that plate to hold the fuel tank in, because they're different, I ran across this problem in my Ultimate highboy build. If you're familiar with that series, you have to secure that plate to be able to hold the fuel tank down. So what they did here is they just ran a bolt through the hole and put some nuts and some washers on it and ran the bolt up, and that's holding the plate. I secured mine on the inside of the cab with some screws, but this is how they did theirs. And that inside cross member or cab mount brace is cracked out on these things, and it's pretty common that they're cracked out. The railroad crew cab is the same way. So unfortunately that one's showing some damage there, plus it's just sitting on the frame. That's not helping that at all. So unfortunately that's just sitting on the frame. But another interesting thing while we're under here, you see this orange tint on the frame in the inside of the frame way under here. There's some more there. This thing has that orange paint everywhere. I don't know why the underside of the frame would have been painted orange. Even inside here, see, that's all orange paint, and even the transmission cross member up there, that's all orange. So even all of this under here was painted orange as well, and even the I-beams up there are painted orange, which I thought was really interesting as to why all of this stuff is painted orange. You know, Ford wouldn't have done that if it was just a fleet truck getting painted a new color for the fleet. Why would they paint the way under there where you wouldn't be able to get to it? That doesn't really make sense to me. And you can see right there, some of the blue paint is flaking off because it had blue overspray, but there's some orange on there too, which this right here would kind of make sense for overspray, but way up under there, I don't know that would be just overspray. It seems like it's overkill for that. And even in here in the engine compartment, if you can tell, that pedestal for the engine mount has got orange paint on it, and there's some orange paint right here on the engine. I think this engine was rebuilt at some point. There's blue paint, or at least rattle can rebuild. There's paint on the spark plugs here, but right there you can see some of that orange paint on the engine. So there's even some there, but you don't see it on the cab because obviously the cab is a different truck. It's that 68 cab, and then there's the orange paint on this rear door. So I think this rear door belongs with this one. You can see a better shot of it right there on the frame, on the axle, on the leaf springs, on the drive shaft. There's orange paint on the drive shaft. So I don't know what was going on there. It's just kind of interesting, just something I noticed. Let's see, another thing, the roof, you know, as I showed you, it does have the rot in the roof right here. It's not as bad as a lot of them I've seen, but it's still there. Has some nice West Coast Junior swing arm mirrors, which are cool. They do say Fumoco on them, not the Ford script. I think I mentioned that in the last video. 2011, I think, is the last time this was registered and on the road. 07-2011 in Texas. Thought I would dig through the glove box while I have you guys here. I always like digging through these old trucks and seeing what you could find in here, if I can get it open. Yeah, we got a notepad. We have, yeah, looks to be empty. Sometimes you can see service, well, no. Sometimes they have service records and stuff like that, but that one doesn't appear to be. Looks like we're gonna have some personal information here. I don't really want to show that. These are just gonna be insurance tickets, it looks like. Those are O'Reilly's tickets. Can't read them anymore. Carb gasket, mechanical gauge. I don't wonder if, yeah, that doesn't really look like a newer mechanical gauge. Exhaust pipe, carburetor gasket, another carburetor gasket, brake line. Is there a date? I don't see a date. It's real hard to read. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that one's pretty hard to read too. Water pump. It's another kind of gasket. Repair slave cylinder. Yeah. I don't know. Had a water pump on it maybe. This is 4.9. That's something for the 300. Oil seal, wheel seal. Someone put wheel seals in it. We already looked at that one. So, had some stuff there. Here's another one. Ooh, we might be able to read this one. This was in St. Louis, Missouri. Huh. Master cylinder. Well, wonder if I could get a new master cylinder. Oh, that was a warranty. When was this? 2010? It's interesting. I got the ticket here. I don't know if you can get a warranty on a warranty ticket. It says lifetime warranty. I don't know. Might be something to try. If I could get me a new master cylinder out of the deal. They're not that expensive, so I'll probably just put the one I got coming on it. There's a looks like it had a locking glove box latch at some point. They put a non-locking one in it. Flashlight and a lighter. Nothing too exciting. But at least this thing was is on the road at least 11 years ago. Let's see if that water pump is painted. So I don't know if they just put a water pump on it after they rebuilt the motor, it would be you'd think it'd be bare. They might have painted it before they put it on, I guess. But that master cylinder doesn't look very new either. Doesn't look like it was 2010 master cylinder. I don't know. You'd think those tickets would go to this truck. But I'm just rambling, guys. Hopefully I'm not too boring. Another thing I noticed in here was the if you've heard me comment on the other trucks, we've gotten these little triangle pieces on the crew cab section. This is where, you know, the regular cab would have been turned into a crew cab here. They have these little triangle pieces to make this curve right here. On the 72s we got, these are all just kind of haphazardly welded on there. Just kind of slapped on there and welded on there. This one's fitted and actually up under there. So that's pretty cool that you can see the differences. This, you know, being a 68 cab, this would have been an early cab. Looks like they might have took their time a little bit more and fit this piece here a little bit better. Let's go look at this 72 that's in here. I can't remember if this one's bad. The blue one we got that we're making into the high boy, it's it's worse, I think, or the worst one we got. But this one here is 72, our crew cab special. There, you can kind of see that. This one's actually pretty good. It's pretty square, but see how it just slapped on there and welded on there. Yeah, that one's pretty square as well. So, not very good. Not very good truck to show you. Maybe we'll go down here to the railroad truck and look at that one. I can't remember how that one is either. Alright, so here we are at the railroad truck. That one is a little bit crooked. See how the top doesn't even line up with the seam there? It just kind of slapped on there and welded. Same way with this one. Just kind of slapped on there and spot welded. They look a lot different on that 68 cab. So that's thought that was interesting, that the differences in the years for the cabs. Right here, this is a 72. You can see has these bolts. That's how the gas tank would have been affixed to the later trucks. Let's see if we can get this thing to run for you guys. Let's see. Got the choke set already. There we go. Uh-oh. She's still a little cold. Need that, I got a gasket coming for the exhaust. The donut gasket is blown out on this thing. Makes it pretty loud. Now she's gonna be out of gas probably. There we go. Good healthy motor, I think. Good oil pressure. About 50 at idle. It's pretty good. So I think it'll be pretty good, especially once I get that gasket fixed. The exhaust looks like it's in pretty good shape. So pretty good running 6-cylinder. Maybe after I get some of these other parts fixed on this thing, we'll take it out for a drive and take you guys along. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little bit of a deeper dive into this truck. A little more than just my standard dive into it whenever I bring them home from picking them up. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I thought I would share with you now my plans for this truck. I actually had a bed picked out for this thing and on Marketplace, and was going to go up and get it. It was Friday, a couple days ago, and it was sold before I could get up there and get it. It was a perfect bed. It matched the width and the length, but didn't get her bought, unfortunately. But I'll keep my eye out for another one. I'm planning on putting a bed on this thing, and this, I'm not sure if this truck had duals from the factory or not, but they're only 7 foot wide, and your standard dualies, your modern trucks are going to be 8 foot wide, so a standard dually bed isn't going to fit this truck. So I'm going to have to find a newer single wheel bed, or an older, I like an older style that would look more period with this truck. So I'll keep an eye out, see if I find one. But my plan is to put a bed on this truck and get the lights working, because right now you don't have any tail lights, and fix the brakes. The brakes don't work. Got to fix the brakes. I'm going to get a new carb on it, new air cleaner, and the engine runs great other than that. And I want to fix the floorboards and the cab mounts, because they're real bad on this truck. I think I might try to tackle the floorboards and the cab mounts on this truck, fix those things. I'm probably not going to mess with the rockers, just because that's going to be a little bit more advanced repair, and I'm not going to do a full restoration on this truck. I just want to make it where someone could drive it and enjoy it. So fix the floor, fix the cab mounts, Probably lift the cab up and change the bushings, because those are pretty bad and that'll beat the cab up riding on it like that. So put new bushings in it, and might send it to auction. I'm not quite sure yet, but maybe the end of the summer it'll be in an auction. And let me know what you guys think about that. Do you like that idea, or would you much rather just buy it private party? I buy a lot of stuff at auctions, so I don't have any problem with auctions, but some people don't like auctions. So I don't know. What's your guys' opinion on auctions? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know. I think I want to put a new rear windshield, new rear window in it. New windshield. The front windshield's kind of messed up, but you kind of got to stop somewhere, I guess. I'm just going to tinker with it for a while and see how far I get with it. But you guys will see it here, so you don't want to miss that. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see that. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.